Hello, and welcome to this channel where I share information that might help others in their own recovery journeys from chronic illnesses like CFSME, chronic pain, long COVID, dysautonomia, or any other chronic illness that is impacted by the nervous system and brain. Today, I want to talk about why focusing on the external causes of your symptoms can actually backfire and keep you stuck. Have you ever noticed that the more you focus on your pain or symptoms, the worse they seem to get? It's not just in your head. There's actual science behind why this happens. And today I want to dive into how shifting your focus from external factors to internal awareness can help ease your pain and symptoms. Chronic pain and a host of many other symptoms can become entrenched in the brain even when there's no physical injury causing it. It's a learned response driven by fear and the brain's focus on pain and symptom signals. When you constantly focus on the external sensation of pain or symptoms, trying to figure it out with questions like, why am I still hurting? Or what's wrong with my body? You actually reinforce the neural pathways that make the pain and symptoms feel more real. Now, this is where mindfulness can come in, and it's one of the most powerful tools we have to interrupt this cycle. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment on purpose without judgment. But it's not just about being calm or relaxed. Mindfulness actually rewires the brain in ways that help us cope and even reverse pain and symptoms. Here's how it works. So, mindfulness practice strengthens areas of the brain like the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for rational thinking, emotional regulation, and decision making. At the same time, it reduces activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, which is responsible for the fight or flight response. When the amygdala is less active, you're less likely to perceive pain and symptoms as a threat, and that helps decrease the overall sensation or intensity of pain and symptoms. Studies show that mindfulness also changes how the brain processes pain signals. Normally, when we experience pain, our brain is constantly scanning and analyzing the sensation. It's as if your mind is saying, look, there's something wrong. But with mindfulness, instead of reacting to that pain with fear or stress, you learn to simply observe it without judgment. This allows the brain to process the pain more neutrally, which decreases the overall intensity. I want to emphasize here as I'm talking about this too that these brain processes are very normal. So a lot of people can feel very judged or blamed that they have symptoms and that there is a brain-driven cause of this. And it's actually the most normal thing in the world. Everybody in the world has brain-driven symptoms. So as I speak about this, I want you to be mindful that this is in no way coming from a place of judgment or trying to perpetuate the idea that you are causing your own experience. It's a very natural, normal thing. And what I'm trying to show people is how to sort of hack your own mind, body, and nervous system. So when you practice mindfulness, you are essentially teaching your brain that the symptoms don't need to be a signal of danger. This reduces the emotional suffering that often accompanies these symptoms, helping to break the cycle of stress and anxiety that can make the symptoms feel so much worse. And when we practice mindfulness, the goal is really neutrality. We're not trying to convince ourselves that the symptom that we're feeling is not dangerous or that it's we are trying to convince ourselves that the symptom's not dangerous. We're not trying to convince ourselves that the symptom is good, right? We're not trying to say like, oh, this pain signal I'm sensing into right now is actually a positive sensation. It's not. What we're trying to do is kind of open up the space of curiosity and bring in some neutrality. And if we can just get to neutrality, that's enough to kind of help shift this. So one way mindfulness helps is by refocusing your attention away from pain and symptoms. And instead of getting trapped in repetitive thoughts like, how long will this last? Or what does this pain mean? You bring your focus to something neutral, like your breath or body sensations that are neutral. Now, this shift in focus helps to deactivate the brain's pain circuits and allows your nervous system to relax. Another key component is somatic practice. Somatic techniques involve tuning into bodily sensations, especially subtle ones, like your breath or gentle movement. Instead of fixating on pain, you shift your awareness to other parts of your body that feel safe or, again, neutral. By doing this, you train your nervous system to downregulate, which helps lower the stress response that often amplifies the pain and the symptoms. Our nervous system is like a switchboard for symptoms. When we're stuck in a fight or flight state, even minor sensations can be amplified. Nervous system regulation techniques like deep breathing, grounding, humming, and embodied movement teach the body how to calm down, signaling again to the brain that the pain or symptoms are no longer an urgent threat. Now, I want to talk about how your beliefs and expectations can also shape your experience of pain and symptoms. I've been reading a book recently called The Expectation Effect, which is fabulous. And in this book, the author explores how our brains are constantly predicting what we expect to feel. If you expect pain or symptoms, you're more likely to experience them. Now, on the flip side, if you train your mind to expect relief, comfort, ease, or again, neutrality, the brain begins to shift its response, changing how you perceive your symptoms. So, by focusing less on the external signals of pain and more on internal awareness through a lens of safety, you can retrain your brain and body to experience less pain and symptoms. The goal isn't to deny that the pain or symptoms exist, but to stop reinforcing them. Mindfulness, somatic practices, and nervous system regulation all help us to break the cycle, allowing us to shift our focus, reduce stress, and calm our nervous systems. So remember that the way you think about pain and symptoms, it does have an impact on your reality. And the more you trust your body's ability to heal and regulate, the more your body will start to believe it too. When you shift your focus, you change your experience. Now, remember that healing happens one step at a time. Be gentle with yourself. Take time to explore the right path for you, and know that I am wishing you a kind and gentle day. Take good care, everyone.